Hi guys, so I am kind of late to the game with this, but I recently purchased, because I think it just recently came back out again as a kind of a second run of this, because when I first looked at this Oracle deck, it was sold out by the time I went to kind of buy it. So I'm pretty late to the game with this, but I have recently purchased the Sacred Creators Oracle, and it's arrived in the post. So I figured that I would record a sort of unboxing for you guys, and I mean, if you're interested in this deck, there are loads of unboxings on YouTube already, there are loads of reviews, and you're not necessarily going to learn anything new about this deck from my unboxing, but I thought I would also take this opportunity to sort of have a kind of more relaxed video and have a little bit of a chat with you guys and so on and so forth, while also, you know, giving you something pretty to look at. So this is how it has arrived. It's all kind of wrapped up in black paper, black sort of gift wrap paper, like the kind of crepe paper, with a little sticker on the front saying Sacred Creators. Really, really pretty packaging. I almost don't want to open it, but it has to be done. So I kind of appreciate that. It's a nice added touch. Feels like I'm opening a present for myself. In a way, this is like an early Christmas present for myself. I considered kind of maybe putting this out there as a kind of wish list item for anyone who's buying me a Christmas present, but I just was afraid that it was going to sell out. And also I thought it would take longer to arrive than it actually has. So this is the box. It's really hefty, which I was expecting because, like I say, I've seen a lot of unboxings and reviews of this online. So I knew that it was coming in quite a hefty box, but this is, I understand now why the shipping is quite a lot to ship to the UK, because it really is heavy. But that's the case with independent decks, generally speaking. I'm gonna have that tricky thing now of cutting the plastic without damaging the box. That's the thing about, you know, independent decks a lot of the time, is that they are a little bit more expensive, especially when it comes to shipping, because, you know, they're not being sold by you know, multinational corporations who can afford to ship them at, you know, lower costs or whatever. So the box is really beautiful. It's been a little bit damaged, I think, which I'm guessing is probably the fault of the Royal Mail. Honestly, things that arrive for me in the mail are often pretty bashed up, so that's a little bit annoying, but like, it's not, I mean, it's fine, it's just a tiny bit bashed in at the side. But I'm surprised that they managed to like damage such a hefty box. Like, I've seriously had really bad experience recently. Has anyone else had that who lives in the UK? Like recently, all of the stuff that's been arriving, like my mum, bless her, she sends me these little snack things that she makes sometimes in the mail, and she sends them to me in kind of plastic Tupperware boxes, which I use a lot. I freeze a lot of meals, like we freeze meals that we make, or we cook in bulk, and then we refrigerate meals a lot, so we use a lot of Tupperware. But they've been arriving like smashed in, and I've had to just throw them away, which is really annoying. Anyway, this is the guidebook, and it's, you know, as expected, which I'd seen, you know, very thorough, which is nice. I really like that. I like with an Oracle deck in particular, because I'm not coming to it with preconceptions. Now, the first 22 cards of this Oracle deck are kind of aligned or associated with the major arcana in tarot. Ooh, I'm just looking at the deck itself. So I will have some kind of preconceptions about those cards, but the rest of the cards in the deck I won't. And I always really appreciate a guidebook that I can kind of dig into and get something out of. I like to work quite intuitively with decks as well, but I think with Oracle decks I tend to sort of, I haven't worked out so much of a format for working with Oracle decks, I think, as with tarot. So I kind of always appreciate the option of having a little bit more guidance. Oracle decks are something that I will often reach for in the mornings when I'm doing my morning devotionals, and I will just do it kind of more in a hurry. Like if I'm doing a tarot reading for myself, I will generally want to be doing that in a leisurely way. I will want to kind of get cozy, I will want to get comfy, and have like a fair amount of time on my hands, preferably have alone time, and, you know, kind of snuggle up with a cup of tea and my deck and my journal and really, you know, go at it. Whereas with an oracle deck, I'm more likely to use it like for a one card draw in the morning and just to draw one card and have a little kind of meditation on that one card. So I've just opened them up and they are, wow, they're even more vibrant actually, their colours, than I was expecting, which I really like. I think I was expecting them to be a little bit more pastel. I mean, some of them are quite pastel, but some of them are actually quite like that red. And it's that move beyond intention to belief. It's very beautiful. So yeah, so that, I mean, that's 5, so I'm assuming that that is associated with the Hierophant. Interesting. So yeah, that, but they're also, I think it's always hard to tell like the texture of cards from videos. I can see what people were kind of getting at, like they do, the cardstock does remind me of the Wild Unknown, but it's much more, it's actually more matte in a way. I really like the texture, it's very unusual, but I like the size as well. They're very easily shuffleable, for me anyway. I've got quite large hands for a woman, but they fit really comfortably in my hand, which is really nice. Okay, hang on, I'm going to open the second half. So yeah, so that's kind of how I'm expecting to use this deck to some extent, as a kind of to reach for these cards in the morning, you know, do kind of quick one card draw, just because that's how I've used them a lot in the past, oracle decks I mean. But because they have such a specific kind of purpose to them, I am hoping that they're gonna reinvigorate my reading practice for myself. Ooh, I think I like this half even better, the second half even more. This half is actually more pastel. Interesting. So you're obviously not seeing any of this. Just to give you an idea. So I don't think I'm gonna bother giving you a close-up of these cards or anything. If you guys want a review of these later down the line, I mean, that might be more helpful. Ooh, really like that card. Because obviously in this kind of setup, you're not going to be able to see much. I could set up a camera and do a proper kind of video of these and show them to you in a lot more detail. But like I say, there are a lot of videos on them already, so what might be more useful for you guys at this stage would actually be to hear my thoughts once I've actually used them, and that might take quite a while. So I think for the rest of this video, you know, rather than kind of flicking through all the cards or anything, oh, I will say, so a little bit harder to shuffle once they're all together because the deck is quite thick, because the cardstock is so sturdy. The deck as a whole is actually quite thick, and they're not mixing together so well right now because they came in the two little bundles. I'll have to kind of, there we go. That's a bit better. So I can definitely shuffle them hand over hand, but if you have smaller hands, you might struggle with that, because I'm only barely able to kind of get like most of the deck into one hand. But they're really beautiful. The gilding is interesting as well. It kind of reminds me of the kind of gilding you would have on the edge of a book rather than something more plasticky, if that makes sense. So yeah, rather than kind of sit here and flick through every card in the deck, I think I'm just going to have a bit of like an update for you guys. I've filmed an unboxing yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, of an order that I got from Joey Morris, Starry Supplies, because it's the first time that I've purchased from her shop, which is an absolute crying shame, because I've been, you know, ogling her stuff for years, like 5 years or something, and I've only now gotten around to actually ordering something from her. I mean, it's obviously easier to do so in the UK as well, again, for the like small shops, small businesses. It's always, the shipping is always much cheaper when you're purchasing within the country, which is very handy as well. So ever since moving to the UK, I've been saying to myself, I really have to order from Joey Morris now that we're living on the same island. So yeah, I filmed a quick unboxing of that, and I might kind of put that into the end of this video as well, because I wasn't sure what I would do with that footage. So I might do a sort of general kind of unboxings of the month kind of video. I've seen this card before, but it's really beautiful. If I see any that kind of stand out to me in particular, I will just show you, but I'm just going to flick through these cards and talk to you guys. So yeah, I'll put that in as well. But I also thought that I might just kind of give you a very kind of rough update update, kind of overview of what my thoughts are and what kind of videos I want to shoot soon, and what's been going on in my life and with the PhD and stuff. So just a quick segue. I'm not as sure about the element cards. What do you have? Any of you who have this deck, what have you found about the element cards? I find that they stand out quite a lot in the deck. And a blank card. Is that? Ooh, interesting. Okay. Is that? Yeah, I mean, how have you been finding that? Do they kind of stand out for you too much? I just find that the style of them is very, very different, and they stand out a bit too much for me, so I don't know how I'm going to find them. I also find the concept a little bit more simplistic than the rest of the cards. I do really like the Creator Air card though, and maybe because it just vibes more with the rest of the deck. But yeah, with the, what's it called? The Alchemist's Tarot Inner Hue, the Alchemist something, I can't remember the name now. Not Tarot, the Alchemist's Oracle. I'm probably saying that name wrong, but you know the deck I mean, by Inner Hue. That Oracle deck has a set of chakra cards, which similarly are very different to the rest of the cards, but I actually really liked them. So maybe I will actually come to really enjoy those element cards. But the elements are not a big thing for me either, so we will see. Magic happens when you most expect it. I like that. So yeah, basically the reason that I haven't made a video in a while, again, is because November was actually a really tough month for me. And it started out so good, and I was so motivated, and I was so set to make so many videos, and then it just kind of fell apart a bit for me kind of midway through the month. So I started out the month feeling really reinvigorated in my spirituality, my spiritual practice. I felt really reinvigorated as well about my ideas about creating some sort of kind of heart-centered business going forward, getting back into that, picking up where I left off with Heart Story. And I started to watch a lot of videos by people like Carrie Mallon and Kellyanne Maddox and Joe DeVoe. And I was getting really, really inspired by those videos and thinking to myself, I really want to start now very gradually building up my ideas and my plans for what it is that I want to create and what it is that I want to offer and where I want to be aiming for when I finish the PhD, basically. And I was getting very excited about that. I had an idea for creating a sort of audio, similar to what I've done with Paving Your Own Path. I was thinking about doing a sort of audio workbook kind of collection, kind of course on the Dark Goddess, and nothing has happened from that since my first kind of evening when I sat down and wrote some notes and talked for a while about it. I recorded an audio file of myself just kind of talking about it, but that's one way that I really want to go. So I really like the idea of creating content primarily, I think, but I also really enjoyed doing the spiritual mentoring stuff that I did back in the day, particularly spiritual mentoring, where I was helping people work through developing their spiritual practice, changing up their spiritual practice, or just generally offering sort of a helping hand, like mentoring essentially, just offering a sort of sounding board for people who are working, who have their own spiritual practice that is kind of self-made, that is a kind of a hodgepodge of different things, that's kind of eclectic, that is earth-based, and so on. So I do really want to get back into that in some capacity too, but it's just going to take a while, obviously, to figure out exactly what I'm aiming for and how much of my energy I can put into that during the PhD as well. So sorry about the rather abrupt change there. I discovered after recording the first part of this video that the second half or more had actually not recorded. And I tried to kind of re-record what I'd been talking about because I was going on a bit of a ramble, just kind of giving you guys a bit of an update on life. But I actually decided then that I'm not really going to try and rehash all of that because it wasn't particularly interesting anyway. I think I really just went off on a ramble about my experience with the PhD this year and my hopes regarding that, and just my thoughts on whether or not I want to go into academia and that more and more I've been thinking that I might not, and that I might want to try and sort of eke out my own path and that kind of thing. But I think I'm not going to really bother going into that too much. I also kind of briefly touched on a couple of videos that I want to make soon. One of which is one on tarot. I want to give you guys an update on my kind of use of tarot, how that's been going for me recently and that kind of thing. But I think that's kind of unnecessary as well. Like when I make the video, I'll make the video, and then and I can talk about all of that then. But I do want to say a couple more things before I go. First of all was that it was only after I did the unboxing and finished recording the video and I was clearing up the packaging that I discovered that I had missed a little thank you note in the package from Chris Ann, the creator of the Sacred Creators Oracle. And I had no idea that she actually is a viewer of mine, or she doesn't actually specifically say YouTube, but yeah, that she has been actually following me online for a long time, and I had absolutely no idea, which is really, really nice. Chris Ann, if you're watching this, I don't know if you've ever commented or left comments or anything. If you have, I just have never put two and two together, if that makes sense. Like I've never connected you as the creator of this deck with someone who's been following my content. So that was just such a lovely surprise, and she just wrote me this really wonderful, really beautiful note. It was really heartwarming, and that just really made my day. That was really, really sweet, really, really nice. It's always such a nice surprise. I mean, it's always wonderful to hear from anybody who watches or reads my content, who has just been helped by it, who has been moved by it, who has been able to relate in any way. It's always a lovely experience, but it's particularly nice when I encounter people online who that I appreciate their content or their creations, you know, the people that I've sought out and that I kind of appreciate and respect. And it's always a nice surprise if they're like, oh, I know who you are. And I've watched your stuff too. So yeah, that was a really lovely surprise, really lovely note. So that's going up on I have a kind of corkboard notice board in the flat where I kind of keep some cards, birthday cards, notes from people, things that people have sent me and stuff like that. And this is going up there. So thank you very much. And I'm really looking forward to using this deck. So to finish up on talking about the deck, I really was just saying towards the end of the video, before it cut out, or after it cut out actually, that the main way I'm hoping to use this deck, I mean I will be using it kind of in the mornings hopefully, in the way that I have in the past used oracle decks, just to do kind of a one card draw and have a little bit of a you know, a meditation on that card or whatever, and try and take that card with me for the day. But I think I want to work with this oracle deck in a much more in-depth kind of manner, the way that I would with a tarot deck. And I specifically want to work on my attitudes towards my own creativity and my attitudes towards my creative output. So I'm really hoping that this deck is going to help me do kind of a sort of like shadow work, I guess. Because, you know, as I said, I think early in the video, I think you will have heard me talk about that. I've been thinking more about, just over the past 6 months or more, I've been thinking a lot about who I am as Anya Orga, what I'm putting out there as Anya Orga, what Anya Orga is, and what the website is, and what I'm doing with the channel, with the website, and with my online presence in general. And I really want to start getting more kind of back into feeling like I have a kind of coherent idea, a coherent piece of work that I am contributing to over time, and that there is some sort of general thrust, some sort of general project that I am going about, that I'm working towards. And it doesn't have to be just like one small goal or one specific thing. I'm not wanting to box myself in, but I'm definitely wanting to clarify for myself a little bit what it is that I do with my videos and my blog posts and my social media, and to try and have a clearer focus every time I'm sharing something or creating something, have a slightly clearer kind of crystallized idea in my mind of what it is that individual thing is contributing in terms of the kind of greater picture of what it is that I'm creating as a whole. And doing things like thinking of kind of keywords and stuff that, or key phrases that describe what it is that I am trying to contribute to this community and to the world. That's really, really helpful, and it's really helping me to kind of solidify what it is that I'm up to. So I mean, giving up the name Heart Story as my kind of website and my branding, that was something that I very much felt ready to do. I felt that Heart Story as a concept, that it was constricting me. It didn't feel fully me anymore. It wasn't, yeah, it was something that I wanted to let go of. I mean, I might use it in the future, but as a general sort of, as my website name and my, you know, branding, for want of a better term. But in a way, once I did that, I kind of lost that sense of structure and that sense of having an aim and having a goal and having an overall feel and point to what it is that I'm creating online. Because Heart Story was a sort of a concept, whereas my name, Anya Orga, as a kind of pseudonym, it doesn't say what it is that I'm doing in the title, if you know what I mean. So I think it's taking a little bit more thought, and I'm just in a very kind of transitional phase with all of that too. That I'm just starting to think, I might not be doing with all of that what I once thought I might, but I do want to do something, and I want it to move forward. But also I really just want to tidy up some of the ideas that I have. Maybe tidy up isn't the right phrase, but I really want to work through some of the problems that I have, some of the blockages I have around my creative productivity, and around the kind of energy that I bring to different projects and so on. And I think I really do have this block about trying to hold back energy from the PhD in order to have energy to do other things. I think that's probably an unhelpful way of thinking about it. So I really want to, do some shadow work and really dig into my attitudes about myself as a creator, and hopefully just get to a point where I feel like that creating is something that brings me energy, something that energizes me rather than something that depletes me, and that it doesn't always have to be draining. Like, creating something doesn't have to be draining, that I will turn to creative output, to doing certain creative things as a means to unwind, as a means to re-energize myself, rather than feeling like I have to be sort of pepped up and raring to go before I can put pen to paper, before I can, you know, sit down to do some artwork, before I can write a blog post, make a video, or whatever it is. So I think a bit of an attitude shift would be very positive for me, and having that sense of it all just being a natural kind of flow of me. I think having that in my life more and in a more kind of steady way will actually help my productivity in my PhD as well. So I'm really looking forward to working with these cards and seeing in what ways they can help me work through that, and also just get to a point of feeling like I have a clear idea in my head of the kind of thing that I'm trying to put forward out there as Anya Orga online, and how it is that I am trying to contribute and add value to other people's lives through doing that. Hi guys, I'm not entirely sure what I'm planning to do with this footage, but I am about to unbox a purchase from Joey Morris's shop, Starry Supplies. And I just figured that I might as well record it, and maybe I'll like throw it in together with some sort of vlog type thing if I record any such similar footage over the next while. So this was just, I've been meaning to purchase from Joey for the longest time. I know that the first time I went to buy something from her shop, I ended up not purchasing it because the shipping was just so expensive to Ireland, which is absolutely not her fault. That's all just down to the Royal Mail. That's just how much they charge. And at the time, for what I was purchasing, I just decided against it. But I just never got around to actually trying out any of her stuff, and I've really been meaning to. So I honestly don't even really particularly remember what I bought now, because it was bought in a haze of being ill over the last couple of weeks. So the first thing in here is 2 oils, which is exciting because in all honesty I actually forgot that I bought 2. I thought that I'd only bought 1. I really should have brought a scissors over here actually. Oh wait, no, we can do this. We can do this. So beautiful. Look at that. So this one I believe is a, yeah, Morrigan. I was going to say Morrigan related. Sorry, it's probably going to come in and out of focus. I don't have autofocus on this camera, so yeah, Morrigan Raven Queen oil. Isn't that just beautiful? So I'll be using this presumably on the Morrigan altar. I don't currently have an oil burner on her altar, but I have multiple oil burners kicking around, so I can definitely put one on there. But yeah, I may just also choose to just use it for anointing. I haven't completely decided how I'm going to use this, but I just really wanted to try out some of her oils. I also may use them on the main altar rather than just the Morrigan one. And this is, yeah, okay, colic oil. And look how beautiful that is. So this is a strange thing. I am not completely sure that I actually... She might have actually put this in extra, because I'm not entirely sure that I did order more than one oil. I was looking at a couple of different ones that I was considering trying. But I have a suspicion. I don't know, I guess I'll find out. She has a note in there, so I guess I'll find out when I read it. Because I think the colic oil is new and I don't remember purchasing it. But I'm big on the colic. And she's actually a figure that I've been intending on working with more soon. So this is incredibly handy. It's just so beautiful, aren't they? And especially when you kind of... so pretty. Anyway, so those are the oils. And then I bought a herb blend. So I do actually use herbs already quite a lot with my devotion to Morrigan. I used to burn incense more. I used to burn like herbal incense that I made myself more in my general practice. It's a kind of a habit I got out of in more recent times, but I still burn herbs for the Morrigan a lot. Oh, these are really beautiful. Those little, look at that. Isn't that so pretty? So yeah, but generally I've just been kind of burning the same herbs over and over. I have a particular blend that I just associate with her. The smell is just evocative of her, but I really wanted to try burning more stuff, and I do want to get back into burning incense more generally in my practice too, and making my own incense. So I have a lot of herbs and so on that I haven't been using, and then I also just thought, you know what I need to like boost me to actually use this stuff again is some specifically just some herbal blends that are mixed by somebody else, and somebody that, you know, I kind of respect and admire in the community. And yeah, Crone Reborn. So I'm very much looking forward to using these. So yeah, these are sort of for the Morrigan, and also yeah, Raven by Moonlight is the one that I'm specifically considering for the intending to use for the Morrigan. And then the other one is more of a general I'll use it on both altars kind of thing. So those are what I've purchased. I'm just going to try and get a smell of very they have very kind of potent earthy smells to them. I'm just going to try and get a smell of the other one. Sorry, you're not looking at anything very exciting there, are you? I'm just going to try and get a look at a smell of the other one. Very, that one's even more kind of earthy. The other one's slightly spicy, I would say. So yeah, I just quickly took the tops off them and had a bit of a smell off camera, and had a quick read of the note that she put in the package with them too. And yeah, as I expected, the Raven, oh, what's it called again? Morrigan Raven Queen oil. It doesn't have a very strong smell to it. It's more kind of just about the herbs imbued with the oil. It'll be more of kind of an anointing oil rather than a burning oil, or not. I won't necessarily be burning it for the scent. The colic oil has a stronger scent to it, so I'll be very interested to see how that burns actually. And yeah, I was right, I wasn't just having a complete blank on that. Joey added that in for free because there was a delay with the shipping, because she was waiting for the little the little bottles to arrive for the oil, I believe. So there was a delay with the shipping. But I mean, honestly, it wasn't a long enough delay that I was particularly concerned or anything. So the whole experience of buying from the shop, I have to say, very, very positive. It was really quite quick shipping. Now, obviously, I'm in the UK too, so the shipping itself was very fast. But yeah, like I say, I mean, I've only been waiting, I mean, not even 2 weeks, I would say, for this shipment. And because it was that long of a wait, she put in this oil for free and also upgraded me to first class shipping. So really, really thrilled with this. And kudos, Joey, very, very positive just experience with the whole purchasing experience. So yeah, I will be reviewing these oils and herbs again. Sorry that they're so out of focus. There we go. I'll be reviewing these oils and herbs maybe, if I, you know, remember to do that after I've actually used them in my practice. And, you know, that might not happen until the new year, because when I'm going home, I obviously won't have access to my altar for about 3 weeks around Christmas time. But yeah, really, really beautiful. Really excited to use these. And 10 out of 10 experience with Starry Eyed Supplies. Will definitely be going back to her again if I'm repurchasing or looking for more herb and oil blends.